Just in case you are looking for that channel to give you great content and to entertain you, then you're at the right place. Welcome to another episode of Green Talk. Just in case you are new here, please do well to subscribe below. And if you're an old subscriber, then welcome back. On today's episode, I'll be taking you guys down memory lane, down to my childhood days, my formative years. I'm so sorry for the break I took. I really needed that break. But right now, we are back and we are better, because right now I'll be dropping videos weekly. Yes, I just said weekly, every Thursdays. And new videos means new content. New content means lots of fun. Like I said earlier, I'll be taking you down memory lane. Yes, down to the highlights of my childhood. I mean, I had lots and lots of fun. Different highlights, plenty highlights, but I can't share it all because I will take so much time. So I'll just be sharing 4 different highlights with you. Yes, so stay tuned and keep your fingers crossed. So now let me start with the first story. That is the Slab Story. I titled all of the highlights I'm giving you. So this is the first story and it's the Slab Story. I was so young. I was about 8 years. I just came back from school. It was a Thursday afternoon. I can't remember because I wore my sports wear. So as usual, I went to greet my friend Joyce. She used to stay like upstairs. The kind of apartment we were living was like a block kind of apartment, like different apartments in a block. So it was flat 1, flat 2, flat 3, flat 4. So I was staying in flat 9, and Dari was staying upstairs. Jessie was staying upstairs too. So I would go upstairs, to play with Joyce, and sometimes she'd come downstairs to see me. So I was at her place. I don't know what transpired between the both of us, but I know Dari hit me. He slapped me, and it was not funny. And after he slapped me, I felt bad, but I was still trying to cooperate. I was wanting him to beg me, but no, this guy was feeling so accomplished that he slapped me. And so I got so upset and I went to report him. So why this incident stuck in my head is because I got to decide someone's fate, and someone stood up for me when I was bullied. So when I got in, I went to report him. My grandpa was like, "What do you want me to do to him? Do you want me to slap him back, or do you want me to just shout at him?" And I said, "I want you to slap him back," because the slap was bad. Like his 5 fingers were showing on my ear, and when he slapped me, I had a whole sound like in my eardrums. So my grandpa went out and slapped him back, and there was different attention. Everybody was on me, on the clothes. They were like, "Oh my god," because I was this cute little girl. So everybody was looking at me like, "Oh my god, what happened to you?" And I'm like, "He slapped me." Everybody was like, "Why did you slap her?" And so much attention was on me. So he got slapped back and everything died down. Everybody went into their different apartments. News flash. Throughout that week, throughout that month, this boy was always sobbing me. But everywhere I go to, he's like, "Abi, they stabbed me because of you. Abi, they stabbed me because of you." And I'm like, "Man, why are you so bitter?" He was always so angry, like whenever he sees me. But he couldn't touch me. He was so scared of me. And that incident sent a message to everybody in the clothes. Like nobody could just, mess around with me. I was this like precious princess. Till we moved out of that particular area, I always had that respect. And I don't know, it just made me feel so good. The fact that someone stood up for me when I was bullied, because I knew what I did not deserve a slap so hot like he slapped me. I mean, nobody has ever slapped me like that, even till this age. So the fact that I had someone to stand up for me, and then I decided his fate, made this incident stick to my head. So now let me take you down to the second story. This one I titled it "My Menstrual Issues." So this particular time, I can remember clearly. I was in GS2. I was about 12 years. I just started, menstruating, and as at then, my menstrual cycle was inconsistent. I do not know why, but some months I would come on and fly my red flag. Some months I won't. It was just irregular, probably because I was still forming and all. So I was in class. I was in GS2. Then I started feeling funny. My body was just, feeling funny. So I was like, "What's wrong with me?" And so I went to the ladies to go and check up myself. When I got there, I realized that I was flying my red flag. I was on. So I started, calling my friends like, "Oh my god, what am I going to do?" So I started surfing for sanitary towel. Unfortunately for me, I didn't get, so I had to make do with what I had, and that was a tissue paper. So I wore a tissue like for the main time now, because it was almost closing time. So I was like, let me just manage this. So I wore a tissue and I was in class. Instead of me to have just been quiet, to sit calm and just do my stuff, I started playing around. I was so playful, and so I continued playing. I wasn't feeling pain, and the news flash, guess what happened? My tissue soaked in blood fell right in front of the class. It's so funny how I can laugh about this, but when it happened, it was like the most terrible thing that could have happened to any teenager. I was so scattered, like I was shocked. I froze. I didn't know what to do. Even though for my class girls, they all came around me and they were like, oh my god, oh, he's bleeding. Someone picked the tissue for me and disposed it. They just tried to cover everything up for me and make it seem like I was bleeding. But my class boys were not buying that story. They were asking questions. When did she start bleeding? Was she not playing here this morning? But we just made them confused. We successfully made them confused. I'm sure they were suspecting or they knew, but we tried our possible best to confuse them. Throughout that week, I was so silent in class. Like my day was just ruined. I remember when I got home, I was so silent. Everybody was asking me, what's wrong with you? Until I narrated the story. So I had to find a way around it to make sure that I always had sanitary towel in my bag, so that whenever it came on, I'll just pull it out and get ready and prepare myself for whatever was coming. So I just had to find my way around it. But this issue was a big deal. Like it was going from class to class to class to class, down to the third story. I feel like every African child, precisely Nigerian, should have gone through this phase of their lives. I don't know about you, but practically every child in this house, in my house, went through this phase. Where you got spanked and you're like, I'm leaving. As a child, you're like, I am moving out. Like different stories I want to share with you, but I can't. I just have to share my own story. So I was young still, maybe like 7, or I was not up to 10. Sure, I know I was not up to 10, but I was quite young, maybe 6 or 7, yes. And someone spanked me in the house. I can't remember clearly who spanked me, but I was so upset that I got spanked. And so I told myself that I was running away. Yes, that I was running away, that I was not doing this anymore. So I go back from school. I was plotting this thing from school. I go back from school, I packed my load, and I'm like, I am leaving. Unfortunately for me, I was like, don't let me pack my stuff. Like, let me just drop my things so that nobody will suspect me. I just broke my colo and I took my cash and I'm like, I am running. And I'm sure that they all thought I went for my afternoon lesson, because I used to, attend this afternoon lesson around my area. So they probably thought I went for that lesson, but I didn't go for the lesson. I was planning to run away. So I broke my colo, took the cash, and I was setting out. I can remember clearly, I was wearing this red top that has Make a Wish, and it had Winnie the Pooh on it. So I took out to run. As I was going, this juice is for all my first time guys. So I left 401. I was saying 401 as at then. I left for 512. So when I got to 512, I saw this guy. I think he used to see me around as at then. So he was like, where are you going to? I'm like, I'm running away. He's like, you're running away? I'm like, yes, I'm running away. He's like, why? And I told him, oh, I got spanked, I this, I that, I can't take it anymore, I'm going. And he spoke to me, he spoke a lot of words to me. He's like, you can get raped, you can get hurt, go back home. And also I cried because I really meant business. I was hurt. So he said, make your wish, because I was wearing Make Your Wish on my top. So I wish to go home. So I was like, okay, go home. So I just turned back and I went home. And nobody knew, I'm sure nobody suspected that I ran away. In their mind, I went to lesson. So I just went in, and so later I planned that I was still going to rerun. But fortunately for me, I was always watching news, NTA news, and I was always hearing stories of bomo kidnappers and how they would cut children's head, cut children's hand. And in my mind, I'm like, please, I don't want to die. And so I gave myself a prayer and I didn't run away. I'm like, at least I'm safe here. let me stay here and be safe than run away and get harmed. And so that's how I couldn't run away again, and I'm here today shooting this video. So lastly, to the final story of the day. This one, I am not proud of it, but anyway, we move. Everybody has something they are not proud of they did, but I'm just sharing mine, just for the sake of fun, and as we move. So this story, I did something very bad. I stole. Yes, I stole about 500 naira as at then, and that was huge money. So I went down to a supermarket. I purchased sweets, candies, biscuits, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing this today. So I went back to the backyard and I was there chewing it. I was eating. But it was so much that I couldn't finish it. I couldn't consume it all. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, let me just keep it for tomorrow. So I kept it in the nylon and hid it somewhere. Somewhere that nobody should go to and find. I don't know how my mom saw it. I don't know what happened, but I know that my mom saw it. And then she called me and asked me, who kept this candy nylon? Who has this candy? Who kept this stuff here? And I'm like, it's not me. She's like, who kept it? Who kept it? I'm like, it's not me. I cried. It's not me. So she's like, okay. Unfortunately for me, I didn't even clean my tracks. I left the receipts from the supermarket in that nylon. So she saw where the goods were purchased from. So she went down there to make inquiries. When she got there, they were making inquiries. They got to know that I came down there to purchase biscuits and chocolate. So immediately they knew that it was me. She came home, and that day, let me not tell you what happened, but I knew that I spelt my name that day. So, that incident, shaped me a lot. It scarred me to some extent, but, made that stealing is not worth it. It's really the shame that comes with it. Like, it made me picking another person's thing just repulsive. Like, I won't take your things without your permission. So I think I'm grateful for that incident, because it taught me never to pick what's not mine. Like, never. Because I cannot deal with the shame that comes with stealing. My identity means so much to me. So, this incident is funny. It's funny, but I just had to share it because it was one of, the highlights of my childhood. So please let me know. I really want to know how childhood was for you as a Nigerian. As a non-Nigerian too, how was childhood for you? Give me your childhood details in the comment section. Comments, let me know how growing up was like for you, especially when we know that our childhood has a great impact on. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Keep your fingers crossed for the next episode next week. Stay safe and stay healthy and live your life to the fullest. Thank you.